Air Canada pilots have voted overwhelmingly in favor of a strike, and they could walk off the job as soon as September the 17th. Here's our travel expert, Claire Newell, who joins us this morning with more on this and other travel headlines. Claire, good morning to you. Pilots, they've been holding informational pickets at various airports right across the country. Could you tell us what is this dispute over, and just how big of an impact would an Air Canada strike, how big of an impact would it have?
Well, the impact would be huge. They're the number one carrier here in Canada. And I think in the recent memory, people are a little nervous about this situation because we just recently had that WestJet mechanic strike and tens of thousands of people were affected. So there's a lot of important things on the table, and voting a strike mandate can be a normal process in negotiation. So although it's making people nervous, it is a normal part of the process. Some of the things that are on the table, they want, the pilots union would like a retirement address, scheduling concerns, as well as compensation. So what I want people to know is that because it's a normal part of negotiation, it doesn't mean that a strike will happen on September the 17th. They're in a cooling off period. You know, fingers and toes are crossed that this will be settled ahead of time. If they've seen what happened with WestJet, they will want to work towards a fair deal. But because it's now a known event as of last week, if you choose to book with Air Canada, you may not be covered by insurance.
Okay. All right. Now, speaking of this potential, the possibility of a strike, Air Canada has just updated their rebooking policy. So what do travelers need to know with regards to this?
That's right. And I think because people were affected by the WestJet strike, people who have something that's very, very important may be really concerned about that date around September the 17th, if they've got to get to a wedding or a very important business meeting or something. So Air Canada has put out a flexible policy. It's for those flights that are really close to that September 17th date, September 15th through until September 23rd. Now, the details of that are on aircanada.com, and you are able to change. Now, you can cancel, but you won't get a full refund. The details of it look like you will get a travel credit. So if you chose to book on a different airline, you wouldn't get that full refund. You would have to pay, and you'd have a credit sitting with Air Canada.
All right. Meantime, Claire, Flair has just introduced a new $1 base fare. Just exactly how is this going to work? It almost sounds too good to be true. And will it make travel? Will it make it more accessible for people?
Well, we're talking about it. I mean, it's definitely a good marketing ploy, and I think a lot of consumers are going to be looking at this. I mean, $1 base fare, the reality of this, you guys, is that no airline can sustain operations with $1 base fare and the taxes, which are disbursements. I mean, they're going to other people. But it's making people look at this. Now, if you drill down on this deal, it's essentially for northbound flights going from, say, Mexico or the U.S. or the Dominican Republic or Jamaica up to Canada. So if you're doing a round trip fare, you need to factor in that it'll be normal fares combined. So I do encourage people to look apples to apples because it's a ultra low cost carrier. And so you would be paying for things like seat assignment or meals on board or baggage, even just a carry-on bag. But we want our airlines to be strong, and I hope that this does well as a marketing ploy. But the reality is that we've seen 3 airline cease operation in the past year. Just recently, Canada Jetlines, Lynx, Swoop. So I do encourage people, no matter what airline you're going on, to get travel insurance to protect your investment if you are choosing to do this.
Okay. We, of course, are gearing up for the Labor Day long weekend, and the U.S. is set for some record-breaking travel.
Yeah, like this could potentially be the busiest Labor Day on record. That's what the US TSA is coming out with. That they're anticipating 17 million people will be going through TSA checkpoints over Labor Day, up 8.5% over last year. So if you're going to the US, really if you're traveling anywhere outside of Canada, I do encourage people to do a couple of things. obviously pack your patience and lots of time built into this, but also use technology wherever you can to help streamline the process for you. Check in online. If you have the ability to book a security appointment. Now, I know that Toronto, Vancouver, and some of the other large airports across Canada will allow you to do that. You go to the airline's website and you can book an appointment. You have to be there within 15 minutes. You get a QR code, but boy, is that line up a lot faster. And use ArriveCan to come back to do advanced declaration. Again, you get that fast lineup. So just make sure you pack in enough time. I can't say that enough.
All right, a busy, long weekend ahead. Claire, we're going to have to leave it there for this morning. Thank you so much for this. It's good to see you as always.
Have a great long weekend.